Kip Capley for State Representative, Treasurer Dr. Donna Carrillo, and Tracker Steakhouse.
What? Okay.
Yeah, good.
They can't hear us.
I'm hearing the ring dinging of the
You
bell.
need to unmute the board input.
Okay. I cannot hear Chris yet until I get to the commercial clips.
Is listening.
That's a good thing.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
At Consumer Cellular,
Barry was never
you
your
get the
treasurer.
same exact coverage as
He's
the
yours.
largest
That'd be a
carriers, but
conflict.
for up to half
He's
the
your
cost.
state guy.
Same thing, up to half the cost.
Shout out
Up to
to
half the
Chris.
cost for the same
You don't do
thing.
it yet.
50% the money for 100% the same thing.
Hey,
I'll
can y'all
make
hear me?
myself clear.
Grandma now.
Consumer
Barry's like
Cellular.
a F250.
When freedom calls, we're here to
Nothing
answer.
stops
Call us
him.
at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line
Don't
5
hold
gigabyte data
stuff
plan
up
with
in front
unlimited
of the
talking
camera,
text compared to
Chris.
lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk
Move
text and
your
data plan
phone.
offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May
Can
2023.
y'all hear me?
Pizza's
We
here.
can't hear
Oh,
you.
great. I
Can-
love
can
some,
he
but
hear
I'm
us?
worried about my stomach issues.
Can you hear us?
If you're worried about having diarrhea,
can
gas,
hear you.
bloating, stomach
Okay.
pain,
Tilt
or
your
loose
hat
oily
down.
stools,
Tilt your hat
it may
down.
not
Tilt
just
your
be
hat down a
stomach
little bit.
issues. It could be a
There
condition
you
called
go.
exocrine pancreatic
There he is.
insufficiency, or EPI. With
You
EPI,
can
the
hear us.
pancreas
We're
doesn't
gonna
release
let
enough
this be
enzymes
Kip's
to
show
break down
today, since
food,
he
but
hadn't been
EPI
in
is
for a while.
manageable. Use the symptom checker
Well, where'd
on
you get them new,
identifyepi.com.
windshields?
and
We
talk
can't
to
hear
your
a
doctor.
word you're
That's
saying.
identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
We'll get it in a minute.
That's what you got, isn't
Alec
it?
Baldwin has been indicted on involuntary manslaughter for the 2021 deadly shooting on a movie set in New Mexico. Baldwin was pointing a prop gun at cinematographer Helena Hutchinson when it went off. Fox's Jonathan Hunt says this follows
What you could do is
coastal
call him.
legal action.
He has maintained, obviously,
Put it
throughout
on
this,
mine.
that
He
he
don't
is
sound
absolutely
good.
innocent,
He
that it
does.
is not his fault. He did
This is
not
the-
pull
this is
the
what we got to
trigger,
work
he
with.
says. There are many
We will
experts
if
who would
we,
say
can't
that
hear
gun
him.
cannot fire without a trigger
That may
being
not be as
pulled.
bad.
Then
Man,
there'll
we
be the
appreciate
questions,
all
of
your
course,
services
of
and
why
hard work
and
here.
how did
Well,
that live
but
bullet
we
get
can
into
hear
you. It's not that-
the
it's not the end of the
chamber
world if we
of
can't hear
that weapon.
Chris.
And then you have, talking of the roller coaster, everything that Alec
I hope
Yeah,
Baldwin
we
he's
just
hearing
had him.
this.
We can just get him
the
to
initial
nod.
charge,
Yeah.
thinking he was
Or
being
shake his
charged.
head.
Then that case falling apart, the relief, obviously, he would have felt.
He's
and
calling.
now
Keep growing out
he
that
finds
mustache,
himself
you don't look like Hulk
indicted
Hogan.
again.
No trial date has been
Hey.
set. President Biden, Israeli Prime
Hey,
Minister
I can
Benjamin
hear y'all.
Netanyahu discussing the war in
Y'all.
Gaza as the two disagree.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we never
Biden
did
still
hear you.
believes
Just
in the
hang
promise
on.
and the
We're about to go
possibility of a
live.
two-state solution for Israelis
Hold
and
on.
Palestinians.
Hold your
He
skunk
recognizes
smell.
that's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of leadership.
And White House National Security Council spokesman John
We
Kirby
got
says the
30
president will
seconds.
keep making that case to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin
Not
Netanyahu,
yet.
who has stated his opposition to a Palestinian
What about the
state following
FAA
the
looking
war
to
in
hire
It's one of these
We're not gonna
Zoom
go
nights.
there.
It's a little
intellectual
different
and
than normal.
psychiatric
And
issues?
good friends and allies
Once we get
have
started.
expanded for
Don't you wanna-
and we do.
We need.
Kirby says
Don't you want
there's a
somebody
change in
with
the president's commitment
psychiatric,
to ensuring Israel's security
disabilities
and
behind the
I don't
cockpit?
think
to defend
that's it.
itself.
Well-
the White House, Jared
Hey,
Halpern,
Todd,
Fox
Chris.
News.
North Korea claims it
Chris.
tested
Hey,
a nuclear-capable
Yeah.
underwater attack drone in response
No,
to
I'm
combined
hearing this.
naval exercises by South Korea,
Hello?
the U.S., and Japan. North continues to blame its rivals for rising tensions in the region. I'm
All right,
Tom
here we go.
Graham, and this
Ready?
is Fox News.
Good afternoon, everybody.
You are live on the Kip Capley Show. I
hope everyone is doing well and staying warm and staying safe. This show is brought to you by Kip Capley, four-state representative Dr. Donna Carrillo, treasurer, and always the amazing Strikers Steakhouse. We want to give them a shout-out right off the bat.
Can't get better food than Strikers, can you?
No, sir, you cannot.
We're working right now trying to get old Chris Morris on with us. You know, he's really he actually loses his man redneck card because he can't get into the radio station. So we're trying to put him on Zoom because how can you not have a four-wheel drive vehicle?
Do you still have him on the phone?
No, he's not on the phone.
Okay.
He's just looking at us. Look at him.
So, I mean, it's terrible. See, this is a good thing he can't talk right now.
Yeah, he can't say anything against it. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Well,
I mean,
you know, hey.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, you're a redneck. You know what's happening. You know what's coming, and you do not have a four-wheel drive vehicle to get out of your house.
Hey, you know the thing that I think is hilarious that I've been seeing a lot on Facebook lately is everybody's like, "Hey, is Walmart open? Hey, what's this road look like? Hey, is Swap and Shop? You know, hey, is this place open? Is that place open?" I mean, the first bit when the snow fell, Facebook was blowing up. People asking about Walmart was open. Did y'all not know we was gonna have snow?
I know
mean,
exactly.
Where have you been?
I'm going to tell you what I did. I made sure I had plenty of stuff to take me through the week, just in case I couldn't get out.
Hey, I think it's hilarious. People are like, "Oh, is Walmart open?" Like, well, there's 8 inches of snow on the ground. If you really want to go to Walmart, I mean, you can't go to work, though.
Right.
Can't go to work, but
Maybe we're going to go to Walmart.
That's right.
We're going to go to Walmart.
You know, I'm going to tell you this. Walmart, Kroger's, all these places are having trouble getting people into work right now this week.
I mean, a lot of them are very short-staffed.
Yes, sir. The roads are treacherous, folks. Be careful.
They are definitely treacherous. So we still have.
Do we need to call Chris?
I told him to call your phone.
Okay.
Chris, call Lawrence.
Yep, call me.
Call him up.
That way we can get you on so you can defend yourself being a so-called man and a redneck without a four-wheel drive vehicle. Just saying.
Shout out to Cloud9 Internet for coming in here and helping us. We're going to give him a shameless plug in here.
That's right. All right, so here we go.
Coming in here and helping us. Chris?
We just need the volume.
Just the volume parts. Just flip her. Chris, give me it. Say something.
Are you there, Chris?
Chris.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Oh.
There we go.
I'm here. I'm seeing my picture on Zoom, and I can hear y'all.
Okay.
We can mute the owl.
All right. So we're getting
and I'm muting.
Hold on.
What'd you do?
I muted the owl.
We're still working through things, folks. We are still working through things, but while they're working on that, I'll fill a little bit of time here. Last week, the General Assembly gavelled back in. We got back to work, started filing bills and doing a bunch of really good stuff for the great state of Tennessee. I've got a lot of bills filed and some other things I think our constituency will be very, very happy with. I'm sure you've seen a couple of them on the news outlets and stuff like that. One of the major news stations did a poll on one of my bills. It's pretty exciting. So we're excited about it. It's been a lot of good things done.
So what has been your opinion? I mean, there's been a lot of controversy, and I don't think the media's been. Of course, you know how the media are. They do not like to tell the truth. You know what does Trump call them? Fake news.
Fake news.
So
we got them on both sides of the aisle.
We do. We really do. But give us your opinion of what's going on where they're saying that they're limiting people from being able to come into the Capitol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's just simply not true, and I know a lot of media outlets have pushed that narrative. That's not true at all. So basically what happens now, let me back up. What happened before was the left side, if you're facing forward, facing the flags, facing the speaker, the left side and the right side of the gallery were both wide open. First come, first serve. You can roll in, get your seat, whatever. The problem that we were having is that certain groups had organized and would fill the gallery so that nobody else could get in. Right. So if I had constituents like I've had several times and have been blessed to have, we'd love for people to come see us while we're in action, so to speak, come up and the galleries are full. Well, you don't get to see the session. You're just out of luck. So what the House basically worked on was a rules policy that's based off of what actually happens in Congress right now in D.C., where there's a ticketed system. And so how the ticketed system works is each representative gets a certain allotted amount of tickets or a ticket, and they can use that for friends, family, constituents, whatever. And that will be for the right side of the gallery. The left side of the gallery is still wide open, first come, first serve. Whoever wants to come in and sit down, that's still wide open. But the right side of the gallery is reserved for the tickets and media, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, for example, if I have a big group of constituents coming in, like I got 15 or 20 or 30 people coming in, all I have to do is send an email to our caucus chairman and say, hey, I've got 30 people coming. I've talked to this amount of members. They've said I can have their tickets. Please send me the tickets. They email me the tickets. I print the tickets off. I hand them to my constituents, and they have a guaranteed seat. Does not matter what's happening, what's going on. They have a guaranteed seat on the right side of the gallery.
So how many seats then are available then on the right-hand side of the gallery?
Oh, total, it's like 100. Yeah, 120, I think, is the number, and there's 99 reps, and then we've got a couple for the media.
Okay. All right.
So
what would have happened, like what happened in the special session when we had brought 130 people up there that one day? How would that have worked out then?
We'd have got as many tickets as we possibly could, and then we'd have put everybody else. We'd have had 10 or 15 people just have to get there really early and get on the left side.
Okay.
Had to split them up.
We'd have to split them up.
I got a question an answer to this as well. The good thing about the ticket system is that side is vetted and will not be removed from the gallery.
Correct.
The other side, who is showing their rear end,
Yes,
will be the ones that sent out of the gallery.
And we've had that happen before. I mean, it's hard to tell when all that hooping and hollering's going on, and the speaker just says, "Hey, that chunk of the gallery right there, that's where all the noise is coming from. Trooper, they're gone. All of them." And you could have been sitting there not doing anything. Guess what?
Well, that actually happened to us in one of the
in the committees.
In one of the committees, they had to kick out the whole room because of 3 people.
Yep.
So
that's exactly right.
So that's a good idea.
It is, and it makes more sense because obviously if I have constituents that drive all the way from 71st District, I want y'all to be able to. Y'all are going to behave. I mean, and it's not right for y'all to be kicked out based on the actions of some other idiot.
It was the commie mommies that got us kicked out.
Yeah, well, yeah, they was.
Well, that, and it's a shame, but you know what? It kind of proved a point, and I didn't mind getting kicked out because I seen what was happening and how, unlike what the media won't tell you the truth, but I was there to see the truth, and
yes, sir.
And I always knew that the media has a way that they bend the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be polite here.
Sure.
But when I actually saw it in person, to how much those committee meetings were being hampered due to the people's behavior.
That's crazy.
That, okay, I understand. Okay, I'm having to leave. All right, I get that I have to leave, and I see why I have to leave. But if you heard the media talk about it, then, they were kicking out these innocent people that were just...
covenant moms, and we're kicking out people that's kids died, and now we're silencing folks. And
right.
No.
There was no silencing going on.
No. And they had, how many warnings? They had 2 or 3 or even 4 warnings that was like, hey, we love you, thank you for being here, but please, hush. We're trying to conduct business here. And y'all are, they're just making a racket. It's hard to focus.
It was, and I really appreciate how you guys actually handled that.
Yep.
Because me personally, I'm ready to go out swinging the way some of these people are behaving.
I've come to the point now where going into this will be my 3rd session. I could just. People just don't realize how disruptive the activists are, and they do it on purpose. They do it to stop the conduction of business, to stop the people of Tennessee, to stop our constituency. And, I could care less. I just sit there and let them rip, and we're going to do what we got to do, and it is what it is. But there comes a point in time where it becomes so disruptive where you can't hear anything. You have no idea what's going on because they're just standing there screaming like a wild animal.
Right.
And it's very disruptive.
Yeah, and you know what? You're hitting it. Unless people are up there and unless they see it, they don't realize how these people do behave. They are not behaving in a civilized manner.
No, at all. We have look, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or Mickey Mouse. I would prefer you be a Republican, but that's fine if you're not. If you want to come up there and be civil and voice your opinion against mine or whatever, that's fine. That's your right to do that. I'm okay with that. But when you start raising your voice and hollering and talking
cussing,
profanities, talking about our families, and I've had people call and tell me
threaten
to kill me, kill my family. We need to be slaughtered in the streets like dogs, and all this other crazy stuff. I don't have any time for that.
So they basically are up there acting like Alabama football fans.
Pretty much, yeah. The former Alabama football fans, by the way.
Oh, because Nick Saban resigned?
Saban gone, baby.
Well, you know what? I know Clay Doggett's still an Alabama fan. He has to be.
Love him. God love him.
I mean, hey, he's got to have something in a chink of his armor.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, can't everybody be perfect? That's right. That's exactly right.
That, by the way, Clay, that was for you in
Shout
particular.
out Clay Dog. That's right.
But no, in all seriousness, the media does not portray the reason why these people are kicked out.
No.
They don't betray like you said, the spitting, the screaming.
We had water bottles thrown at us at special session.
Well,
water bottles.
Well,
and then the
one lady got hit with a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, that was a year or 2 years ago. But the expulsion.
Yeah.
When the expulsion was over in the galleries, and I know the folks at home didn't see this, when the cameras cut off, they were throwing full bottles of water, trash. I mean, just crazy stuff. They tried to hang a banner off the like a big giant bed sheet banner thing off the side of the gallery, and I can't remember what it said. It was something just stupid and crazy, but I mean, it just turned into just straight up chaos, which, I can say that I've never feared for my life while I've been up there. Shout out to Tennessee Highway Patrol. They keep us safe. But I can just go ahead and tell you, if you touch me, I'm swinging on you. I mean, you just
you almost did on the floor.
Yeah, we had a little
Because didn't Justin Pearson, Justin Jones try to get up there and get in y'all's face?
Yeah,
and went after the speaker physically.
Yeah, he did. And then we had another situation where Pearson was coming down. So, like, I try to describe it to folks back home. If we have, I can't remember how many aisles of seats we have. I think it's 4 or 5. But if Pearson's on the 4th row, I'm on the 3rd row, right? Like right across from him.
Yeah.
And he was coming down my aisle, like walking toward me. And a lot of times, members will either be sitting at their desk or they'll be standing next to their desk and just leaning over. Because if you're there for 2.5 hours, I'm not going to sit there for 2.5 hours. I got to get up and walk around, whatever. Right. And so I'm standing there leaning against my desk and just minding my own business, paying attention, trying to focus on what's going on. And here comes Pearson walking down the aisle, and Justin Lafferty from Knox County, Knoxville area, East Tennessee, great guy, great conservative fella. He sits in the seat in the aisle over, but in front of me, so we're both in the same aisle. And here comes Pearson, and Pearson lowers his shoulder and shoulder checks Lafferty and like knocks him back and says, "Get out the way, man." And then walks right by me, doesn't touch me. So I'm turning around and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Man, what are you doing? Come back over here and do that to me."
Right.
Like, I want you to walk back around and do that again. And come do that to me. And Lafferty's standing there like, "Whoa, what's going?"
And
like,
Lafferty's not a big guy. He's not like he's your size.
He's probably 5'8", something like that.
Yeah, but Pearson doesn't weigh more than 150, 160 pounds.
No.
I mean, I've been up on him. He's little. Yeah. He's tall, but he's skinny.
Yeah, and I'm 6'4", 250.
Right.
I mean, but he wouldn't do it. So, but that's the thing that the media is not going to tell y'all, is they portray them as these civil justice heroes and these warriors for the people of Tennessee, when in reality their actions, it's nothing but pure idiocracy and just rude, flat out rude, inappropriate behavior that they do all the time. I mean, shout out to Jody Barrett. Jody, while we were in session, was leaving the coffee room. So, like, for the folks at home, we have a coffee room off to the left in session where it's got coffee and water and whatever, like when we're getting, because sometimes we'll be there for 3 or 4 hours and you need a little coffee action. Jody, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and Jody comes out of the coffee room and taps Justin Jones on the shoulder and just to say, "Justin, good morning. I hope you're doing well." And like goes to walk past him, and Justin rears back like he's going to punch him and says, "Don't touch me, Jody." And so Jody's like in shock, turns around and it's like, "Hey man, are you okay? Like what's going on?" And he's like, Jones buckles up his fist and he's like, "If you touch me again, I'm gonna." And Jody's like, "You're gonna do what? You gonna hit me? Like what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Oh, well, you're talking all this stuff on Twitter and you're doing this, that, and whatever, and you just don't need to touch me." And and he's like, "Man, you got some serious mental health problems if you think me tapping you on the shoulder saying good morning is some kind of assault. I'm just trying to be friendly." But that's the kind of people that they are. They're not social justice warriors. They're not fighters for any kind of movement. They're there for themselves. They're self-serving individuals that care about their own juice, and that's the bottom line.
And that is, and they have raised, since all this crap happened last spring, they've raised over $800,000 each, have they
Yeah,
not?
it's like 1.67 or something crazy, but they've spent a bunch of it too. I mean, Justin Pearson wrote a check for some dude that ran for, excuse me, I don't need to use the word dude, some gentleman that ran for mayor in the city of Memphis. He gave him like $100,000, and the guy came in third or fourth. So they're just stroking checks. I mean, to the Democrats across the state, 'cause they've raised so much money. But it was Act Blue got involved, and we can talk about Act Blue for 10 days, but they just raised money. It was like 5, 10, 20, 5, 10, 20. I mean, just small donations across the country because the media played them up as being these social justice heroes, when in reality they're self-serving, rude, hateful people.
And is it Justin Jones that has like 13 or 14 different charges against him?
Yeah, there's pictures of him standing on top of a cop car.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
But he's had 13 or 14 charges without any convictions.
Yeah. He's the one when you talk about throwing the coffee.
Yeah.
He was the one, it was 2 years ago, I think. I might be messing up the timeline. It was 2 or 3 years ago, where he was a protester at the Capitol, and he threw a full cup of coffee on the former speaker, and Deborah Moody, shout out Deborah Moody from West Tennessee, who's still a representative, threw a full cup of coffee on both of them in the elevator.
Really? Wow. And nothing happened to him?
No.
What would have happened to me or you if we'd have done that?
Myers would have had to come get me.
Yeah. He wouldn't have gotten you, though.
No. If I did that, he wouldn't have come get me. I'd have had to. We'd been under the jail. There'd have been no bond, nothing. We'd have been gone.
So it's rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And that's mainly because of who we have up there.
Glenn Funk.
Glenn Funk. Mm-hmm. And Glenn Funk is DA, the district attorney.
Yeah, it's Nashville's so bad, and I don't have to preach to the people here about how awful Nashville is as far as the justice. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that I've been sitting either in my office or going out and grabbing a bite to eat for lunch, and people would just be rolling marijuana on the sidewalks, just smoking it and not caring, and
Brent
peeing
Cooper,
and defecating.
Brent Cooper told me the same thing, that he has been in downtown Nashville and he has watched people roll joints right in front of him.
Yeah.
And he says, and if he went, he's our district attorney, and if he went and tried to do anything, he said Glenn Funk wouldn't do anything about it.
I mean, I've seen people that literally are defecating in the middle of the street at like 11 a.m. Now, they're not doing it now because it's too cold, but
right.
I mean, they'll just drop their pants in the middle of the road and defecate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's lawless. It's a lawless area. That's why you need to exercise your Second Amendment right with you everywhere you go, by the way.
You know what? And that brings me to another question, and we're going to get to you here in a little bit, Chris. That brings me to another question. Tell me what's going on with our Second Amendment rights and some of the bills that are coming up right now.
House Bill 1005 from last year is the true constitutional carry bill that we tried to get pushed through last year. Had a lot of traction. It was going really, really well. And then, unfortunately, we had the Covenant shooting, and that kind of stopped everything. But as far as I know, it's still rolling. We've still got the same House sponsors. Shout out Rusty Grills and Chris Todd for carrying that piece of legislation. They're going to bring that back, and it's going to be great, I believe, as well. The teacher carry bill from Chairman Williams, Ryan Williams, I think he's going to bring that back as well. I was co-sponsor one on that. It's – and a lot of people in the media will twist the teacher carry bill, obviously, to their own narrative. But what the teacher carry bill essentially does is it's a choice. If a teacher decides that they want to protect their students and they feel like they're comfortable with carrying a firearm, then they would go through 40 hours, I believe, of training with the local sheriff's department. And once they complete the training, they get a certificate of some nature, and then the school board and the local sheriff and the chief of police in the area will be notified of who's carrying in the school, and that teacher will have a firearm on the school property.
And they'll be going through the same amount of training as what a deputy sheriff would go through. Am I correct on that?
Yes, 40 hours, pretty sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's the same training.
Yeah.
So you might as well be going through a deputy training at that point.
Pretty much. Yeah, but it's not like the media has twisted it as like we're jamming guns into schools. If there's a school that doesn't have a teacher that wants to do it, they don't have to have one.
Right.
I mean, but my thought process is if you've got a football coach, if you've got a softball coach, if you've got a band director or a science teacher that's just like, hey, I'm really not comfortable being here because of XYZ, and I want to go forth and do this training to protect myself and my students, why would we not want them to do that?
Well,
I mean,
that is the whole question that I have, except for this. That here's the narrative. The narrative is to take away the Second Amendment, because, as we all know, once the Second Amendment is gone, all of our other amendments are gone. The Second Amendment is what gives the rest of our Constitution its teeth. And if you go look at any time guns have been taken away from a country, then the people in charge go out and they kill the people that are their opposition.
Well, and the thing that the Democrats can't ever combat is that a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun every single time. And the thing that I tell them that for some reason they just can't get through their heads is that why are you getting rid of the thing that you pray will show up when you know what hits the fan? Why are you trying to stop the thing that you pray for?
You talking about our police?
A firearm, a police, firearms, whatever. A good guy with a gun. Why are you trying to take that away? When something happens, you hope. And look, shout out to Metro Nashville for their response time on the Covenant shooting, because
absolutely, it could have been a lot worse.
Oh my gosh, they got there immediately, and the officers. I'm sure folks at home, I'm sure many of you have seen the video. I mean, that guy, and I can't remember his name, we honored him on the House floor, but you can see on his body cam, he rolled into that school on two wheels and hopped out and was gone. I mean, he did not stop, did not take a breath, nothing. He hopped out and was bull charged right into that school as soon as, the teacher was out there and told him where she was.
And I will tell you that to me was awesome what we did, because yes, we lost 6 people. Okay. But you look at that response and you look at the response compared to the Uvalde shooting, where they had 26 or 28 killed, or you had the Florida shooting again, they had in the 20s that were killed.
Parkland.
Parkland. But it took them an hour or more to get to that shooter, because our Nashville police, they put their lives on the line. They did not think of anything except protecting those children.
That's exactly right.
The other times, they let the people in, and they were just shooting, and they stayed out.
Why would you? Here's my thing, and here's my question. Why would you want to take the choice away from somebody when they want to choose to have an extra layer of protection? Why would you want to take that away? Especially when there's all these. It's not like we're just saying, we're just blind throwing a gun into a random faculty pool of teachers.
Right.
I mean, they have to go through training. People know, the people that need to know who has the firearm, they know.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be broadcasted. There's not going to be an email sent out to everybody like, hey,
with the same training that our sheriffs get. So it's the same training. Except they're going to be also teaching the kids as well. Here's the other thing. How does the left combat the fact that 98% or more of all mass shootings are happening in gun-free zones?
Well, the left is so focused on the gun, right? So they try to combat every argument with it's the gun that's the problem, it's the firearm that's the problem, it's the gun that kills people, it's the big bad AR-15, the worst thing that's ever been created, it's the mass murder machine. That's the thing that the left focuses on so much. It doesn't matter what we tell them or what the facts are or how we try to describe, like, hey, if there's no firearms in this area, number one, it's a soft target, and number two, every bad guy is going to know if I want to go in and murder a bunch of people, all I have to do is go here, because guess what? Nobody's got guns.
Well, it's kind of funny that they focus on the AR-15, and in the last, I haven't seen 2023, but in 2022, there was like 467 people that were killed with a long gun in the United States. Now, that's a long gun. That could have been a 30-06 hunting rifle. It could have been a shotgun. It could have been an AR-15. I mean, just a long gun, not a handgun.
Yes, sir.
467 people. That was it. Okay, and we had 30,000 people, I think, killed in 2022 with a firearm, but only 467 with a long gun or a rifle. They focus on that. They focus on that particular gun, and frankly, there was more people killed with a hammer in 2022 than there was with a long gun.
I mean, we've even seen through the manifesto and some of the other manifestos from across the country that these people pick these locations because they know that there's nobody there that's armed, and they avoid locations. That's what the shooter from Nashville said.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't go to Opry Mills because there's too many people walking around with a gun.
Yeah.
It's not a hard concept. Soft targets are where these cowards go to kill people.
Right. You know what's kind of also funny? I was looking at a newspaper article back last week, and there's this actor. I don't really know who he is. He looks kind of familiar, but his name is Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Idris he had like thousands. You can go look this up on Google or whatever, of clothes of people that were murdered in England with a knife. Okay, thousands. And he's talking about, well, we got to get rid of the knives. Well, as you know, England got rid of their guns a long time ago.
Yeah.
So now they have a knife problem. So once we get rid of the knives, I guess it'll go back to Genesis. People pick up rocks. People are going to find a way to kill you.
Baseball bats, a pipe.
Cricket. Well, they use a cricket bat over there.
Yeah, a pipe.
Car.
Yeah.
How many people are killed with cars each year?
Anything can be a weapon.
You know, we have more people killed each year with a drunk driving than we do with a firearm.
And we ain't banning Ford and GMCs and everything else, are we?
Right.
Nope.
How many people are like me that kill themselves with a spoon? Are we banning spoons?
I didn't. I think China tried to do that, didn't they? They banned silverware, and that's how they got chopsticks back in the day. I don't think that's how that happened.
I don't know.
Chris, feel free to chime in at any time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, you know, let's get to that too, Chris.
Can y'all?
Yeah, we're here. Everybody can hear you.
Okay, 10-4.
Yes, sir.
So tell us what is going on, and you have been up to a lot here lately battling with the SEC and with our Republican Party of Tennessee. Explain to everybody what the SEC is and what you're working on doing right now.
Well, the SEC, as people have heard me say before, there's 33 senatorial districts in the state. And so the SEC for the Republican Party has 33 men and 33 women, one of each gender from each senatorial district that make up the state executive Republican Party. And we set the bylaws for the state of Tennessee's Republican Party that Kip is supposed to be following as well. So these bylaws are put in place, and we are trying to keep, our state, we send up every year to the House, and it dies in the House, never gets out of committee to where Kip and everybody that's not on that committee can vote on it to close these darn primaries in the state of Tennessee. But we do not have enough Republicans. They call themselves Republicans out of the 75 House members, but we have a few trans Republicans up there. They don't know whether they're male or female or gay or straight.
Oh, Lord.
So the thing about it is we're trying to follow some guidelines, and to be bona fide, to be a true Republican, you have had to vote at least 3 times out of the last 4 statewide primaries.
And Chris, you'll get, if I'm not, and I hate to cut you off here, but if I'm not mistaken, you can get 2 this year. Is that not correct? Presidential primary in the state offices.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
One coming up in March in the presidential primary, and then the other one in the August statewide primary.
Yes,
so
sir.
you can get 2 stripes and be a corporal
Yes, sir.
this year.
Yeah.
If you just simply go vote.
Go vote. That's right.
You got to get up off your do-nothing and go vote. And that's what people are not doing. And then they want to come in and cry foul. Well, I'm a Republican. I've been given to U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn's campaign, or I contribute to Kip Capley's state representative's campaign.
Which is always appreciated.
Kip Capley.
Yep.
You got to be 3 out of 4, but you also got to be active as well. That are the requirements for a bona fide Republican.
Yeah.
But our state executive committee, made up of 33 men and 33 women, and I will tell you, I do know that there are 3 spots that are open right now. So we're missing on we've got a valve that's down. We got 3 openings on the SEC. So we got 63 members we're dealing with. And Lawrence, have you got a copy of the letter in front of you?
I do have a copy.
This is a letter. What happened in August, we had a meeting in August of 23 in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and we talked about, we're not going to give a Democrat, you hear me, a Democrat a reprieve to get on our Republican ballot. So we discussed in August that we could not, we were going to start immediately, and we were not going to give a date in the future, like 2026. I don't know why this is a big bone problem with the SEC, and I hope some of my SEC colleagues see this, because some of them are trans Republicans. They don't know whether they're gay or straight or male or female. And I'm just going to call a spade, and Kip, as long as you've known me and Lawrence, I think I've done that pretty well. So,
and it looks like right now, I'm sorry, Chris, to interrupt you, but right now, based upon this letter, you've already gotten 28 of the 66 to sign off on this, correct?
Right. To call a special meeting of the SEC, our bylaws state that I've got to have 4 different senatorial districts, and I've got to have at least 22 members of the SEC to have a special called meeting. Well, that letter, I've got 18 different senatorial districts and 28 members. Now, that doesn't mean they 100% agree with what I'm going to be stating here in just a second, but they're willing to have a special called meeting. And this letter went to the state party chair, and I also sent it to the chair of the bylaws committee of the state Republican Party to let them know that I'm not happy with, in August, to back up, in August, we all were discussing that we were not going to give a Democrat a pass. Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting here scratching my head, how are we giving them a pass anyway when we're going to 3 out of the last 4 primaries? So we're always looking back at the last 4 elections, okay? No matter what, we're always looking back. But somehow there was a date put in there, and we're all picking up, and it was going with 24, and we couldn't vote on it that day. We had to have a Zoom meeting, a special called Zoom meeting in September, okay? So this Zoom crap is sort of like being leached to the COVID. Everybody can't get past it, and Zoom was birthed because of COVID, and now everybody wants to be dependent on Zoom instead of sitting down and discussing things eyeball to eyeball.
Kind of like right now. Kind of like right now with you sitting at home and couldn't get out because you don't have a 4-wheel drive.
Well, and I do own a 4-wheel drive.
That makes it even worse, Chris.
I choose not to get out, okay? But anyway, nothing goes good in ice. I don't care who you are.
Wait, are you trying to tell me you're pro-choice? Is that what you're saying? Chris, are you trying to say you're pro-choice? Is that what you just said?
No, I didn't say that. You're trying to stir the pot. I think you got a little dog in you.
Oh, Lord.
But anyway, long story short, there was a date that's come up that when we had the meeting, we were discussing in the special call session in September was for 24. Well, during that Zoom meeting, somebody made an amendment to change it to 26. Well, Scott told us in August we couldn't, Scott Golden, state party chair, that we couldn't vote in August. We had to have a 30-day reprieve before we could have a vote. So that's why the special Zoom meeting in September. And we see how well Zoom works. Just imagine getting 54 people on a darn Zoom call. I think that's what was on there that day. and everybody trying to overtalk each other and not respecting each other. And there was one person who tried to dominate the whole show. But there was an amendment made to change it. Well, we were voting on that specific item, and therefore an amendment couldn't be made because that violates our bylaws again. We would have had to wait another 30 days. We didn't take a vote on that amendment, but they went right ahead and said, okay, we're going to vote and change it to 26. And that day I voted no, and there was only 13 of us, including me, that voted no. And a lot of people after the meeting said, well, I didn't realize I was voting for that. And I didn't understand. I was confused. There was too much people interrupting. You couldn't figure out what you were voting on. And my counterpart, Angie McClanahan, she abstained because she didn't know what was going on. So it wasn't fair.
So I got a question here. The 28 people that you currently have signed on to this letter stating that at the very least to hear about closing down, letting Democrats run as Republicans. Were the other 38 that have not signed up on this, were they given the opportunity or they chose not to?
Well, that's another point. Good point, Lawrence. Thank you for bringing that up. You know, I've known some of these SEC members because they're also, some of them are county party chairs like myself, and we had each other's cell phone number. And I had about 8 members of the SEC's cell phone numbers, and that was it. The rest of them, I didn't know how to get in touch with them. Some of them's email's not correct.
Okay.
We don't, as an organization, as an elected organization, we don't have each other's information. So I have developed a call-out list for everybody on the Signal app, to where once I've got your cell phone and your correct email, I'm putting it out there where we can actually communicate.
So see, and this right here is one of the problems that where frankly the Democrats kick our butts over, is because they're organized, and I guarantee you the Democrats, they all know each other's numbers and how to get a hold of each other. And the reason I brought this up is because I'm sitting here looking at this list and I see my guy whose name is Johnny Bellis on my District 26, which is Senator Wally, is not on this list. So I was just trying to see if he was given that opportunity or not to sign off.
He was given that opportunity. Yes, he was. I did call him, and he said no, he wasn't in favor of it.
Okay. Well, I was curious about that because...
Chris, is this an in-person meeting that's being called off his letter, or is this another Zoom call type situation?
No, it's going to be in person, and if people cannot join us by being in person, we will gladly have them on Zoom.
Gotcha.
But we're gonna have, and it's going to be structured, and everybody needs to have the opportunity to debate.
Sure.
This is very important stuff. Now I'm going to carry it a step further, Kip. I know you probably haven't heard about it, but I know Senator Hensley's phone is wrong. My phone is wrong, and I don't represent. It's in Jack Johnson's senatorial district up in Williamson County.
Mm-hmm.
There were people who were challenged who wanted to run as a school board member as a Republican. And I'm going to tell you that's one of the tinderboxes right now is school board members, about having true, good, conservative members on there who actually care about the children and their well-being, because y'all are aware of the Satan Club that's being started up over in West Tennessee in the elementary schools.
Yeah.
So what happened is there was 2 different people who didn't meet bona fide status, and one SEC member in that district, which is Cindy Miller, said no, they don't meet bona fide, so therefore they can't be on the ballot as a Republican. And her counterpart, who is Steve Albrooks, which both of you guys know, said yes. So he went with the people who were 1 out of 4 to be put on the ballot as a Republican. Now, I got a real problem with that, and I got a problem with Steve for doing that, because he's created a monsoon up there that these people are royally pissed off. I mean, they're fighting mad, And Representative Warner has a little bit of Williamson County as well, and they're blowing up his phone, they're blowing up my phone, and we don't represent that area.
Yeah.
And but anyway, then it went to a political committee of the SEC, and there are 12 SEC members on that political committee, and only 10 were in attendance by Zoom on that meeting, and 9 out of our 10 members that were there voted to let these 1 out of 4s on the ballot. I got a real problem. That's where we're having the problems with these trans Republicans.
Well, I tell you, I appreciate the good fight that you're doing on this, and I tell you, Chris, I hope that you do not take your foot off the pedal, because I think this is extremely important. It's kind of funny that people have so little morals that they're willing to switch their party and their beliefs just to get elected, or worse, or even worse, to try to screw up the other side. And to me, I just find that reprehensible, that you cannot stand on your own principles that you have. If you're a Democrat, great. I'm glad, okay? If you want to be a Democrat, this is a free country.
Yeah, good for you.
Okay,
for sure.
good for you, okay? Yeah. But I personally do not want anybody that's in the Republican Party that is going to want to kill unborn babies. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to take away your Second Amendment rights. They are going to want to condone and promote homosexuality. You know what? To me, that's the ultimate hate speech, Kip, is when you tell somebody, based upon going against God's word, that it's okay to live in sin. You know, it's no different, Kip, than me to tell a married man to go, you know what? Oh, it's okay that you are having sex outside of your marriage. That it's okay that you're going to destroy your family and who you are. It's okay, you know, but we don't do that.
No.
We don't do that with a liar. We don't sit there and say, it's okay to lie. If you want to be a liar, I support you being a liar. You can be a liar. I love you. God loves you. And all of these are true, but you still will eventually fall under condemnation. And that is the true hate speech right there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's Republicans do a really bad job, I think, in my opinion. We call each other out on the things that aren't necessarily true, or that we get sideways on, and then we don't call each other out on the things that matter, right? So we'll have, you know, you look at some of these organizations, and I won't name them off because, you know, they'll get their panties in a wad and start coming after me, but you know, we've got some organizations that are media outlets that are on our side of the aisle that just flat out lie. I'm talking about just flat out lie, and they know better. They know better than what they're saying. And the reason that they're pushing this stuff out there is because it creates a good headline, it gets them more clicks, it gets them more followers. It's the same old song and dance. But when it comes down to you-know-what cutting time, and we need people to stand up and say, hey, we're not going to do this, or hey, you're two-faced, or hey, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, you voted this way, you said you weren't going to. Where's everybody at? Where are they? You know, me and Chris were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Why is it only a certain amount of people that have to get halfway ugly with somebody these days? Like, it's crazy, because we've let these people that have, and I'm not calling nobody out, I'm not saying nothing about a particular person, but we've got these people that are in office, and I'm not talking about just the state of Tennessee, I'm talking about across the nation, everywhere else, that have been in office so long that they get comfortable and they think they know more than you.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what your constituency thinks, because they're smarter than you are, because they've been a politician for yada, 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 and whatever else, and they know more than you. But on the flip side of that, you got somebody like Joey Hensley, who's been in politics for 20-plus years, who's an all-star. He's awesome. I mean, he's super conservative. Me and him work together on a daily basis with all kind of different things, and we have a great relationship. So I say that to say we as Republicans, first off, we suck at congratulating each other. We're awful at that. We never boast about the things that we do because we just do the right thing and let it go, and it is what it is because that's what we're supposed to do. Democrats could absolutely fail, and they do 90% of the time in the state of Tennessee, but if they get something in that 10%,
they'll celebrate it.
You're going to hear about it for 6 months.
You know, it's kind of interesting you say that because what you're talking about with Joey. You know what makes Joey so effective as a leader is that Joey doesn't think he is smarter than everybody else.
That's exactly right.
If you have something to say to him, he'll listen. You know, it's kind of funny. I mean, I actually called and I talked with Joey today, and I said, "Hey, Joey," I said, "I want to pick your brain." And you know what Joey said? Well, there's not much there to pick, you know. But I mean, that's how Joey is because Joey's approachable.
Yep.
I have no problem calling Paige Wally either.
No.
You know, I'll call Paige, and Paige is always extremely receptive.
Yeah, I talked to Paige not too long ago. Yeah, I feel the same way.
He'll listen to you. I don't. When I talk to Paige, I don't feel like that he is ever talking down to me or anything else. And he's been in this game for 30 years.
I forgot that Paige has been in it. Yeah, that's true. Yes, sir.
I mean, he's been in this for 30 years.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yes, sir.
So
well, let me share this with y'all before, and then I'm going to hush. Number one, I feel like as a state executive committee, and we have a Republican who does not uphold the Republican platform, and it's still the 2016 Republican platform in our state party, whether they're a SEC member, a House member, or a senator, if they're not doing the Republican values and upholding our values, their butts need to be called out. And then when we have inappropriate behavior by a Republican, they need to be sanctioned, pure and simple. When they do something that's uncouth, unprofessional, in public, they need to be sanctioned. Right or wrong, they need to be, well, they're wrong, but they need to be called out for it. So what I've come up with, and thanks to Uncle Richard Archie, Lawrence, you and I started using this word trans-Republican. But I explained to Scott Golden the other day, we have dipstick Republicans. And y'all know what a dipstick is, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's where you check your oil in your car, your truck, your tractor, your boat, or your motorcycle, lawnmower, whatever. And you pull that thing out, and you've changed oil, and oil is golden, clear, it looks great, and it's full. We have got a great group of people who are on full. But then we got some Republicans who get down there to add a quart, okay? And they need to have some oil added to get them in the right, keep their engine from blowing up. And then we got some Republicans that don't even register on the dipstick.
Yeah.
And those Republicans need to be primary. I'm telling you, we got a problem, and that's where we got a problem is we've got the Republicans who want to talk the talk, they don't walk the walk.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a very valid point there, Chris, and that's the whole thing. Is to me, it is an absolute shame that we have open primaries in this state. I mean, do you know why? What we can do to fix that, Kip?
That's a Kip question.
Oh, I know. That's the reason I said Kip.
I mean, you just have
I didn't hear you. I'm
have
sorry.
to keep bringing the bill.
Yeah.
Try to work committee. I mean, that's all.
We got a bill. We've got it coming up there again, Kip. It gets killed. It gets shot down year after year. It's got shot down 2 years in a row.
Who's carrying it, Chris? Who's got it?
Listen, I'd have to look it up. Don't get me to line.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up.
We'll figure that
but
out.
I want to tell you, this call has went out, Lawrence and Kip, and this call meeting will be Saturday, January the 27th.
Okay.
Where's it going to be at?
Well, it's going to be held at one of the SEC members right now. That we had 2 places offered to us, and I told Scott we got 2 places free.
Well, maybe don't give the exact.
We sound like a Democrat wants something for free.
Yeah. Maybe don't give the exact location, Chris.
It looks like it's going to be over in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yeah, I was going to say don't give the exact location, but I was just for curiosity.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck on that venture for sure. What is it? How much time?
We got 5 minutes. The fastest hour on radio.
Good Lord. Well, shout out to Strikers again. Strikers Steakhouse. Absolutely. Go get you something good. I don't know if they're closed today because of the weather or not.
I drive by there and there was cars in the parking lot today.
If they're open, go get you something to eat. Hey, when everything thaws out. And just for me, when everything thaws out, go out there and support local businesses. They've been closed, and people have been out of work because of the weather and everything else. Get out there when everything thaws out, support some local businesses. Get out there and spend some of your money in town.
Yeah, amen on that one. And I mean, we got some great local businesses here too.
We're blessed in that regard for sure. But going back to the Republican Democrat thing, our state is blessed in that we've got a supermajority in Republicans in the State House and the Senate. But we face a kind of a different set of challenges than other states, and we are so blessed and we have so many Republicans that there's a lot of infighting, right, between Republicans, and you've kind of got the guys that are more conservative, and you got the guys that are more in the middle. The thing that bothers me the most about it, and I've preached this forever, and I might switch gears here in a second. First off, actually, we'll just dump that for the next show. First off, you need to get out and vote in March in the presidential primary. I'm telling you now, so you can go ahead and put it on your calendar. You need to vote, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you who you need to vote for right now. You need to vote for Donald J. Trump in March for president. On the Republican ticket. I'm running for delegate for Donald J. Trump for our congressional district. So please vote for me as well in March. But you need to be prepared to go vote in March for the presidential primary because we want Donald J. Trump on the primary ticket as a Republican running against crooked Joe Biden. And, if you don't go vote, I've said this 100 times on the show, I don't want to hear you complaining. I don't want to hear you whining. I don't want to hear nothing. Get up, go vote. Don't think he's just going to win. Don't think, we live in Tennessee and we're going to go Trump and blah, 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 blah. Get up, go vote. If you want to be involved in some other states, please give me a call. Everybody and their mama's got my cell phone number. I'll put it on air right now, 931-922-1143, 931-922-1143. Shoot me a text. Give me a call if you want to get involved in other states. We will make it happen, Captain. Get up, get ready.
Hey, Kim, by the way, your CC over here, Cousin Clay, is a delegate.
Oh, yes. Yes. Shout out Clay Doggett. He is as well in our congressional district with Congressman Desert's district. So myself and Clay Doggett, please vote for both of us. I'll give a shameless plug to him as well. I thank you for reminding me of that, Chris.
Even though he's an Alabama fan?
Yeah, well, it's, he's
well, everybody has a mistake.
Yeah, everybody's got flaws, and, yeah, he's got, I didn't kill a deer this year, that's on me, but get up, get ready. If you want to get involved, let us know. We will get you involved. It's serious, folks. We got to take back the White House.
We absolutely do.
Shout out to WLX and WDXE.
That's right.
Putting up with us, too.
This is WDXE, W287AA, and W237FD Lawrenceburg. Broadcast services of Prospect Communications.